An oil pumping station in Russia's Chuvash Republic has been shut down after a Ukrainian drone attack. Long-range drones of the Special Operations Center under Ukraine's Security Service, SBU, struck the Tingovatovo oil pumping station on the night leading to September 27. The head of the Chuvash Republic, Oleg Nikolaev, confirmed the strike on the facility that is located 1,000 kilometers from Ukraine in the settlement of Konar in Russia's region. He announced that the station's operations have been temporarily suspended until the extent of the damage has been determined. There is no threat to the population, no one has been injured. Minor damage has been caused. The facility's operations have been suspended. The entire emergency response system is operating in an enhanced mode, Nikolaev wrote on Telegram app. Ukraine's security service confirmed the strike on pumping station number 1 that was followed by a fire. An informed source within Ukraine's security service told local media that the agency continues attacks on Russia's oil sector that brings the aggressor country super profits used to finance the war against Ukraine. Work on reducing the flow of petrodollars into Russia's budget will continue further, the SBU source said. In recent months, Ukraine has stepped up airstrikes on Russia's military and energy facilities in Russian-held Ukrainian territories as well as on Russian soil. Oil pumping stations, refineries, trains transporting fuel and other energy-related facilities have been the targets of Ukrainian drone and missile attacks.
Ukrainian forces have denied claims by the Russian Defense Ministry that Moscow has captured the Serebryanskoy forestry in Luhansk region, an area that has been the scene of fierce fighting for months. The Serebryanskoy forest area has not been captured. Ukrainian defense forces are bravely holding the line there. Lieutenant Colonel Oleksiy Belsky, spokesman for the Dnipro Operational Strategic Group, told the BBC Ukrainian service. He said the situation remained extremely difficult. A large number of Russian units have been destroyed in recent battles. Deep state analysts say that Russian occupation forces continue to exert pressure on Ukrainian defensive positions in the Serebryansky forestry area of Luhansk region. The most difficult situation is in the eastern part of the forestry between Hryhorivka and Serebryanka, where the enemy is trying to gain a foothold to control this area. An additional obstacle is the swampy terrain, which complicates these efforts for the enemy. Russian forces are also trying to block routes into the forest near Dronivka and unfortunately have almost managed to do so. They are periodically observed near the Yampil-Zarachne road, which is a worrying signal for the rear positions of the defense forces as it threatens positions that do not expect the enemy's infantry to appear and complicates operations on the ground as well as logistics to the positions, the report said. Deep State also reported a difficult situation in Zarichne, where Russian infantry is continuously infiltrating the settlement, trying to entrench and take control. The enemy is frequently detected in different parts of the village and engaged accordingly. The defense forces are making every effort to prevent the enemy from fully occupying the settlement, carrying out frequent clearing operations and drone strikes, the summary stated. According to the Russian military observers, the offensive in the area has a tactical goal to advance towards the village of Yampol, located between the Ukrainian-controlled cities of Seversk and Liman. Taking Yampol would isolate both cities and create a new pressure on Ukrainian defenses. More broadly, the operation is part of an ongoing Russian effort to advance towards the key industrial center of Slavyansk-Kramatorsk, which has remained a strategic target for Moscow since the spring of 2022. The distance between Yampol and Slavyansk is about 20 kilometers, but Russian forces must overcome a serious obstacle, the fast-flowing Seversky Donets River. Recall, since the end of summer 2022, the Serebryansky forest has been a defense line held by fighters from various Ukrainian units. Among them, the 12th Special Operations Brigade Azov has been fighting there in recent months. Fierce fighting continues daily on the Serebryansky forest and the surrounding area with the use of all available weapons. Therefore, mostly charred and partially felled tree trunks remained from the large forest there. This was caused by constant artillery shelling and explosions of Russian bombs, which the Russian invaders are trying to counteract the Ukrainian defenders with. Ukrainian intelligence has stated that the appointment of 72-year-old Putin's niece, Anna Sivileva, to the post of Deputy Defense Minister is due to the Kremlin leader's growing distrust of his own officials. According to the main intelligence directorate, this is a worrying sign. The Kremlin is gradually turning into a closed family circle, where key positions are held only by the closest associates. Moreover, Putin fears a new conspiracy, the risk that a group loyal to Chemezov or Shoigu could attempt a mutiny as Prigozhin did is too high, says a source in Ukrainian intelligence. According to a dossier prepared by Ukraine's main intelligence directorate and published by The Times, Sivileva's main task is to report to Putin on corruption and disloyalty within the Ministry of Defense. She is tasked with monitoring financial flows and identifying conspirators. Her reports have already led to a number of high-profile arrests by the FSB. This appointment came after a purge in the Ministry of Defense, when Sergei Shoigu was dismissed and his former deputies became defendants in criminal cases. Against the backdrop of the war with Ukraine, Putin essentially admitted that the scale of corruption in the army was hindering the war effort. Analysts note that Putin's reliance on his relatives reflects his profound isolation. Emily Ferris, a senior research fellow at the Royal United Services Institute, RUSI, emphasized that many of the Kremlin's allies have lost income due to sanctions and are dissatisfied with the situation. Putin understands this and fears betrayal, so he relies solely on family groups. The main intelligence directorate also points out that Sivileva's appointment is linked to the Kremlin's attempt to weaken the influence of Rostec CEO Sergei Chemezov. Mass arrests within his inner circle were deemed too risky. Given the backdrop of Prigozhin's mutiny, this could have led to a new explosion within the elite. In fact, fear of rebellion and loss of power is growing within Putin's inner circle. The Kremlin is searching for traitors within its own structures, and this demonstrates that the system is crumbling at the seams. Sivileva's appointment has become a symbol of how the vertical of power is increasingly based on personal connections and family guarantees rather than institutions.